So I'm working on the gas pedal to brake pedal orientation. I'm going by fly-by-wire, and if you can see here, it doesn't really show you the orientation of it. Maybe that does. But between the pedal height and the brake height, the brake pedal height, this guy here, it's supposed to be 1 inch between here and here, so where your pedal is. By the time I get there, mine's going to be closer to 2 inches. And what I wanted to do was look at my orientation. So I went and put in the steering wheel and put in the seat. And what they gave me was, where is the orientation? Because I needed to know, was I going to pull the gas pedal back, right? Or do I have to modify this guy, the brake pedal? And the reason why you want it no more than 1 inch is your ability to step on it, right? And what they say, if it's higher than 1 inch, it takes you longer to lift your leg up and hit your brakes. So your time to stop really starts slowing down by how much you have to lift this. So they say that if it's equal, you can just slide your foot over the fastest as if equal, and then just step down, right? You're going to press down on it. The next one is, the next slower, is you got to lift your leg up and hit it. And based on the height is the amount of extra time it takes you to stop, because you got to lift your leg up. You're not just sliding your leg over and pressing on it. So with that, I've realized I got to cut a 1/2 inch off my brake pedal, because my gas pedal, I can shim it closer to me, which would be the easiest. But then me sitting where I want to be comfortable, I'd like my seat back. I like to stretch out when I'm driving. So I even like my seat further back, but the problem is I'm already hitting the back window with the back of the seat. Because I have a headrest on this thing, and I'm as far back as I can get, and I'm a small guy, and I don't think I would like this pedal any closer. I mean, I'd probably even like it further away. I mean, this is where it is. I could drop this in a little bit, which I might. I do have some shims on there, and I could take them out, but they're only like a quarter inch trims. But I definitely don't want to pull the pedal any closer to me. That's about as far as I'd want it. That gives me full travel, so I don't even think I could move it from where it is. I can move it closer to me, and I don't want it there. So what I got to do is cut this down. I think this side will show you more. You see the difference? Look at that. Look how much higher that is. It might be 2.5 inches further than where it needs to be. It should only be 1 inch higher than the pedal. And as you can see, that's more like 2 or 3 inches. So I got to cut that out of the pedal and put it on. There is enough, I checked, I can push down on. I'm not going to be hitting the back. It will still give me enough travel. But before I do that, I want to make sure I go underneath, because I have my master cylinder underneath the truck, and I want to make sure the nut is pulled in as far as it can before I do any cutting, because I might have to cut less than what I thought. But you definitely, when you're doing this, you want to make sure your gas pedal to brake pedal orientation is right. And if you can see here, hold on a sec, maybe this will be easier this way. You can see that is where the window is, so it's not going back any further. And I took the gas tank out. I mean, this must have been tight for people back in the day compared to the way cars are today. I mean, I can move the seat back, but then I got to change the orientation of the back of the seat. But that's about the way it's going to be. And for a small guy like me, that's about it. I mean, you see a lot of these bigger guys crammed into these trucks. But you really, really, really want to mock this stuff up and make sure your orientation's right. Otherwise, you're going to get in there, your legs are going to be cramped. It's not going to be comfortable cruising down the road, especially if you take long trips. I'm hoping to take long trips with this thing. You know, put my motorcycle in the back and go. But that's what I'm working on right now is the orientation. I don't like the way it's going to bolt in. I got to make some braces. They had it to where it just bolted into the floor. And where they had it, I'm looking at the old bolts. You can actually see one of the holes right there. The seat was not in line with the steering wheel, and that drives me crazy. I like that steering wheel to be right in the middle of me, in front of me. I don't like it when it's off to the left, off to the right. The way they had here, it was off to the left. Now it's in the middle, so I can't use the holes that they used, and not really a big problem. I already plugged them. Yeah, I didn't weld them plugged, but I plugged them when I did the soundproofing underneath. So they're covered, they're sealed. I'm gonna have to drill new holes. The orientation, the height seems to be great. So I'm not gonna, I was gonna raise it up, but I'm already sitting high up. I can see really good. So I'll just probably have to make some 1/4 inch aluminum spaces to put underneath it, and that'll be it. But mock up your seat, your steering wheel, and to check your brake to gas pedal orientation. If you're doing something like what I'm doing, I'm going fly-by-wire. It's a totally different, setup. The brake pedal you don't want too high. You want it at 1 inch. I'm going to show you one other thing. So I'm going to pause for a second and get someplace. So there's an adjustment right here for the brake pedal. And what I'm doing is going to pull it in all the way. You notice here, pulling it in, which is going to lower the brake pedal before I do any cutting. I don't want to cut it and go, oh man, I could have just came down here and done it. And this here is the linkage that adjusts the pedal on the top. And it was all the way out. I don't know if I'll get my whole 1.5 to 2 inches out of it. But you notice that I'm really getting rid of this gap right here, so I'm pulling the pedal down, and hopefully this will be enough. And I'm gonna go pause it and then see how far we got. So, if you can see how much it dropped it, luckily I didn't go crazy and just cut it and weld, because I was thinking I already had it as low as it could be, and that really brought it down. So that's saving me from having to cut it. And you can see that's 1 inch or less. You want it level or maximum 1 inch up. That's about perfect. Now remember, I still got to put the pad on there, and that's going to raise it, so I'll probably have to lower it even a little bit more. But I'm glad I didn't take my welder out and go crazy and start welding on it. And I went underneath and I double checked the adjustment that I thought I had correct already. So when you are mocking up, you want to make sure your orientation, your spacing, how everything's going to fit. I got a piece of pipe here, PVC, because I haven't bought the linkage yet. But I wanted to make sure I can get to the power steering where that's going to fit, and this tube is actually sitting over the nipple. And then kind of marked up and gave it a little extra space, and wanted to make sure that I could get the pipe right. Now, by lowering the steering wheel, which will lower this tab right here. It's a double D, right, which is going to pull it down. What I was worried about right here is my exhaust flange. Am I going to hit it? And if I raise this up any higher, in other words, pull that steering wheel closer to the seat, it changes my angle and makes it so I'll hit the exhaust manifold. If I push it further down, it gives me more room because it's changing the angle. But the problem I get into, if I push it too far down, the orientation of where I want the steering wheel, the seat, and the gas pedal change. But I do have a little bit of room. I did make this little pipe. I don't know if you can see it, but it's going to, right there, it's going on to the spline of the power steering. And if I cut it, it would fit right over onto the piece of the double D. So when you're doing the orientation, please check your power steering linkage when you're doing all this. It's getting there. Getting there, getting there. I'm going to double check this, double check the way it's sitting, make sure that the slide, the seat moves forwards, back, even though I don't have any, you can see, you don't have any space here, that's it. These seats came with the truck. Originally, the blue in the truck was more of a teal. This has teal pearl in it. So you notice when I'm walking around, you see greens and blues because it's got blue pearl in it and teal pearl. And based on where I'm sitting or standing, all of a sudden you see green highlights and stuff. I was hoping to get this closer to the old teal color. But it is what it is. I like the color anyway. It came out all right. I think the seats will still work, even though they're more of a green, but who wants everything to match? That's what my wife always tells me. And the steering wheel is going to be white. This is just, it had black vinyl on it, but it was all scratched up, so I took it off. And I really like the white, because I got the white highlights. So I ordered a white steering wheel cover. It'll be white vinyl on it. This one here, I would have kept it and did my own vinyl on it, but when they tightened it down too tight and they cracked it all by the screws. And I found a coupon online for the place I bought it from, and $20 for a new covered half steering wheel. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. A lot cheaper than me buying the vinyl, gluing it on, because I could have done that, but I would have spent $10 to get the vinyl, glue and stuff, and then have to do it. And, hey, for the price of a new one with my discount I found, because these Cyber Monday deals are good. That gives you the orientation of what it's kind of looking like, but I'll really have a vinyl cover on it. That's it. Checking the orientation of the gas pedal to the brake pedal, which requires you to put in your steering wheel, your seat, get your butt in the seat, check it with your feet, make sure everything is good, and remember that the brake pedal should be no higher than 1 inch from the gas pedal, the orientation. Have a great one. Hope this helps you.